Welcome back to Random Sports, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. I'm here to give you guys my Monday Night Raw review for April 20th, 2026. Before we get to review, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more good content headed your way. Share it to friends and family to help the channel continue to grow. Now, my overall thoughts about this show was absolutely boring. It was dull. It was a waste of time. The Raw After Mania tradition is dead. It is not here anymore. I don't know why we always continue to look forward to it. Now, my Monday Night Raw reviews are usually basically criticizing the booking, but even in today's show, they didn't even book anything great. They just threw matches together, and I have to criticize that. Matches that I did not want to see. Matches, people being on Raw who are not supposed to be on Raw. What's the point of a brand split if people who are not supposed to be on the show is on the show? But my WrestleMania review that I did, please go check it out. Night 1 and Night 2. I gave Night 1 a bad rating and Night 2 a great rating. And when I gave Night 2 a great rating, I'm expecting for this show to be good. You're riding the momentum of you had one bad show, one good show. It's a C. Tonight's show of Monday Night Raw needs to be your A or a B. And tonight, it was the same dull grade that I gave the entire WrestleMania weekend, which is basically a C, but this show was a C-. I'm not going to say it was a D+ because it wasn't that bad. It's a C-. This show was boring and it lacked anything. There was no urgency on this show whatsoever. Outside of maybe the first segment and then the last segment, maybe. But this show was boring. The show tonight was live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. By the way, just as quick as an aside, I hope WWE never runs Las Vegas again. The crowd was good tonight. They were alive because everybody knows that it's a Raw After Mania, so the crowd did their job. But in certain parts, the crowd was dead. Don't ever come back to Las Vegas ever again. This should be WWE's warning to never ever have a pay-per-view or host a show there. No more WrestleManias, no more premium events. You could just host a Raw, you could host a SmackDown. Other than that, please do not do it. This is a terrible city for professional wrestling. This is not AEW Double or Nothing when it's always in Vegas and they get a good turnout. No, enough of this. The show is absolutely boring tonight. The show opens up with a video package recapping WrestleMania. Michael Cole and Corey Graves, and welcome to the show. It's the same opening over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's the same thing. Welcome to the show, and all these people arriving backstage. They don't change anything, and then we're just supposed to sit here and just accept it. Oh my God, this is just supposed to be great. It's the same shots, no pyro. I tell you guys all the time. The reason why I miss Vince McMahon, not his booking and not his creative, but because he gave you presentation as if it's supposed to be good. This is not good. Every single week you open with the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. It is the same stuff every week. The same people arriving to the show. We get a pop here and there. Oh my gosh. Liv Morgan with Judgment Day. Boo. And then you get Rhea Ripley. Yay. With Io Scott. Even though she's not supposed to be on the brand. Then they battle Kabuki Warriors. A match that we just saw almost 2 months ago. I don't get it. It's the same stuff every single week. The same opening. The same boring and dull opening that we get. This Raw After Mania was horrible. The only good thing that happened besides the opening segment and the last segment was Oba Femi. So Oba Femi music comes out. They're chanting Oba. They're doing his little strut. Everybody's doing it in the crowd. He's completely over. I have no problem with Oba Femi. Great match with Brock Lesnar last night. So Oba Femi gets to the ring. He raised the microphone to his mouth, but obviously the crowd is chanting, so he can't talk yet. So they're chanting Oba Femi, chanting Oba, the same chant that they do every single week. Oba has the microphone. He brings it to his mouth and says the ruler has arrived and drops the microphone, does his pose, and he leaves. That was great. This was a call back to when Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker, and he said, "This is my yard now," after the crowd was basically cursing him out for like 5 straight minutes. And he said, "This is my yard now," and then he left the ring. This was the same call back to that. This was great. That part was good enough for me. After that, we then get a backstage vignette of the Kabuki Warriors, and that's when I immediately click out. I don't care anything about this. I do not care anything about this match. I don't understand why Rhea Ripley is on Raw. And by the way, Rhea Ripley won the title, a SmackDown championship. She won the Elimination Chamber. She went to go face a SmackDown champion. And she's on SmackDown. And yet she's still on Raw with Io Sky. Enough is enough of this lovey-dovey stuff. Separate them, please. The same stuff every single week with these two. It's bad enough Io Sky didn't have a WrestleMania match after 2 years of walking in as champion. Then she comes to WrestleMania. Then she runs out helping Rhea Ripley. What are we doing? So Asuka cuts a promo about, oh man, Rhea Ripley's not your family and you betrayed your family. I don't want to hear. I don't care about none of it. It's the same stupid stuff they've been doing this entire time. I don't care about them anymore. Move on. Oh, show some respect to your senpai, and would you be on your side? Kairi tells you she will be her last. Oh, who cares about this? This is boring. I'm getting frustrated sitting here talking about the same things every single week because they don't know how to book anything. I say this every week. They don't know how to book. They're giving us the same stuff every single week. And we got to put up with it because we're fans and we love the product and we love the business. So we got to put up with this shit because they don't know what they're doing. Rhea hits a riptide on Io, hits a moonsault for the win. That's what happened. They won. Like, Rhea, Ripley, and Io Sky was technically not losing this match at all. They were not. They were not going to lose, especially coming off WrestleMania when she won the WWE Women's Championship. They were not going to lose. Wow. This was so unpredictable. Was it a good match? Yes. Did I care about it? No. Nobody cares about this anymore. I said this for weeks and weeks at a time. Nobody cares, and I was excited that Rhea Ripley was going to SmackDown to go face Jade Cargill, and then they messed up that entire feud, even though Jade Cargill, I was right that Rhea Ripley would bring her to her best match. Go check out my WrestleMania review. But I was right about that she would bring her to her best match since she faced Naomi, and I was correct in that. And she brings her to her best match, and then all of a sudden, now we have to get her back on Raw again. I don't get this. Do you not have enough talent on the show? Do we not have enough talent in the company that this match should not have taken place? Then just a spoiler, in the show you have Paige and Brie Bella and Nikki Bella sitting in the crowd holding up their newly won titles. And I'm like, you couldn't put Paige on the show tonight and wrestle? But we got to see the Kabuki Warriors versus RHIYO. The same stuff every single week. And then you wonder why, I come on here and I complain every single week and he's always critical and stuff like that. Because it's the same stuff they book every single week and it's tiring. After this match is over, by the way, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are celebrating again. And, hugging and all that stuff like that and picking her up as if she's a toddler. And then you have Asuka yelling at Kairi Sane as if we haven't seen enough of that shit, too. We didn't see Adam Pearce with Penta. He graduated from backstage. By the way, enough of this, too, by the way. I'm mad today. I'm mad. I'm not in the mood for none of this. Adam Pearce is backstage with Penta. Adam Pearce already pisses me off. But the fact that we got to see her with Penta, who has no story, he had a great match on Sunday, fine. But what's his character besides him doing that stupid ass slow walk every single week? He comes out there and then does nothing. I told you guys the best way for this company to utilize Penta is to put him back with his brother, but no. Because they see money signs with him and they don't see anything else, they're going to trot him out there as, he's a great Intercontinental Champion. It sucks. The IC title division sucks. You want to know why it sucks? Because there's no story. So Penta's backstage Adam Pearce. Javon Evans shows up and congratulates Penta on his win. But he says he's not going anywhere. And this is what pisses me off too. You was just in a ladder match saying, I'm not going anywhere. We know you're not going anywhere because you're in this division. Whoever wrote tonight's show should be fired. Flat out. Penta then says he will do it again, which I don't even know what this means, but his title isn't going anywhere. Ethan Page shows up, and this is what pisses me off too. Ethan Page is on here as if we supposed to know who Ethan Page is. Now, I know who he is because I'm a wrestling guy, and I watched AEW, and I saw him in AEW, and I know that he went to NXT. But you're doing call-ups on Mondays with people that we don't know. The casual fans don't know who Ethan Page is. It's the same thing you could say, well, you didn't know who Javon Evans was. You did because they kept putting him on the show before they gave him an original call-up. So the crowd and the audience got used to him being there. And then when he officially got called up, that was when he was utilized. Ethan Page has not been on the main roster but one time. At least with Javon Evans, you were consistent on putting him on the main TV at least once every 2 months to get people used to what he was. When was the last time Ethan Page was on the main roster besides tonight? I'll wait. So Ethan Page shows up. And Pierce says he is the newest member of Monday Night Raw, as if we're supposed to care about this being a call-up. As if we're supposed to care about a guy who we get no vignettes, no nothing. And that's what happened yesterday. All these matches at WrestleMania, all these goddamn commercials, we sit here, casual fans are going to want to know, why is Roman Reigns and CM Punk facing at WrestleMania? Why is Brock Lesnar and Femi facing at WrestleMania, opening on ESPN, WWE WrestleMania is on ESPN, and there's no vignettes or no video packages? So how are you supposed to explain to casual people who are going to sign up for the app to want to watch it if there's no background and no history? But instead we get Hulk Hogan on a documentary for the entire night! I'm on one today. Page just says he gets what he wants and he's basically here to be for the Intercontinental title, as if we're supposed to care. Payton says he won't need a second chance, unlike Javon Evans. Pearson interrupts and says they can settle it in the ring. And this is what pisses me off too. Why is it every single time somebody got a bomb backstage, we got to settle it in the ring? I don't want to see Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. You're going to have Ethan Page lose on his debut, and then Javon Evans you're going to have Javon Evans lose to Ethan Page and put him over. And he just got there. Why would you make this match and not put Ethan Page in the ring with somebody else who's already been on the show who can afford to take a loss? Being inconsistent and stupid when you're worth billions of dollars is the dumbest thing that you got to go through. And they think that we so stupid to watch this show every single week and review it that, man, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense when you have a new guy coming up versus a guy who's over with the crowd and you beat him, spoiler alert, because that's what happens. They face off in the ring and he gets beat. So after Ethan Page says that they won't need a second chance, Pearson interrupts and says that they can settle in the ring. I just read that. Evans then says nobody's going to take his spot, especially Page. This was boring. I didn't care nothing about it. No disrespect to Ethan Page, by the way. This ain't personal. Now, this is something that happened during the commercial break. And I didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't see it because it was the Los Americanos. I already told you guys how I felt about them. This company are being run by clowns, especially a guy named Mark Shapiro, who I don't like, who I will call out every single review that I do on this show. I will call him a clown because he is a clown. We see Los Americanos in an interview backstage, and I didn't care nothing about it, so I'm not even going to bother with it because I don't care. I didn't see it. It don't bother me none. This was terrible. Los Americanos is a terrible gimmick when you have a bunch of white guys under a lucha libre mask pretending to steal from another culture, and we got to sit up here and put up with it. And I don't even take that angle because I'm not even that type of person, but this is ridiculous. These guys under these masks, again, I say this every single week, are talented enough to be on their own, but instead, because this company don't know how to book anything, and because they're so stupid and lazy, we got to deal with 3 white guys under a mask pretending to be Mexicans and luchadors. And you wonder why this place is in the gutter that it's in. Then they do something else that's very, very stupid. They put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal happen on SmackDown because it's not good enough to be on WrestleMania anymore. So they put it on SmackDown every single WrestleMania season before WrestleMania starts on Saturday. They put it on Fridays. Royce Keys is in the crowd and he barely gets a reaction. You want to know why he barely got a reaction? Because after he debuted at the Royal Rumble, this company kept promoting him on Stephanie May's podcast, and nobody knew who he was. He was adamant not going to NXT. He did main event and did matches on main event, and nobody knows about anything about him. They started showing his story. He just popped up 2 weeks ago, and he's been there ever since, and you expect him to get a reaction from the crowd when we don't know him. Now, I know him because he was in AEW. But he didn't go through NXT. He debuted at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia with Noria. He got a nice good pop. I'm not going to lie. He got a good pop. And then he comes out there. He's not on TV. He's wrestling on main event out of all places because he apparently, backstage information, he wanted to do that. And so after now he wanted to do that, you bring him and show his background and understand he has a good... This ain't personal with him. You show his family and different stuff like that and he's doing it for his family. I don't care nothing about that. That's not my problem with him. My problem is that you debut somebody at the Royal Rumble and then you hear crickets from the guy except for being on the podcast with Stephanie McMahon that nobody wanted to watch because I sure didn't watch it. Now, after that, he's not there for weeks. He debuts on SmackDown 2-3 weeks ago and then now you have him sitting in the crowd on a Raw after Mania to get some shine when the entire time you could have been running vignettes for him so he could get the shine anyway. This made no sense. Another dumb thing for this company to do. So now we get CM Punk walking through Gorilla, and the crowd is booing him a little bit, which I don't understand why the crowd was booing CM Punk. I guess off of last night's match. I mean, he lost, so everybody should be happy, I guess. Anyway, CM Punk walks through the Gorilla, makes his way down to the ring. Punk, the guy's microphone, starts off by saying that he's been dealing with a lot of losses in the last 6 months. Since October, Punk then says he was in Japan, and he was told his MMA trainer passed away. He didn't wake up. God rest his soul. We send a praise out to CM Punk. After that, Punk then says his dog Larry passed over the Rainbow Bridge. Punk then says every few weeks it feels like someone in WWE family has passed away. Punk then mentions them and says there are people behind the scenes who make this well-oiled machine run, which was a great moment for those people that he pointed out. And it basically got a standing ovation, and everybody was standing up and gave a standing ovation because that is impactful. You know, some of these guys are not with their families. They grind every single day. The cameraman, the production truck, everybody else who's there, and they become like family. So this is a really good moment. This is one of the best moments you could say of the night from CM Punk, was acknowledging the fact that there are people who work for this company who are passing away in the background that you guys don't know. And he put them on a jacket at WrestleMania. So this is actually a positive thing that he's doing. So kudos to CM Punk, rather, on pointing this out and actually bringing awareness to it so people can actually care. Even though we rip these shows apart, there's guys back there actually working really, really hard and not being with their family. So this was really, really a good thing that he did. And I'm not saying, I know I'm angry about this show, but this is one of the nicer things that happened on the show tonight. Then after that, Punk says he lost last night. Punk says all of the aforementioned losses hurt more than losing the title. Punk says every week you helped him heal from all those losses. Punk says being champion gave him a reason not to slow down and reduce himself to a puddle of tears. Punk thanks everyone for helping him through the process and his grieving. Everybody's giving him a clap of ovation. Punk says he feels that they will help him get through the most recent, though, which is the loss he had last night to Roman Reigns. Punk says he wasn't supposed to be a champion, but being a champion at 46 for 3 minutes isn't bad. Punk says he could have reduced himself to a puddle of tears, ate donuts, and hang out at home with his hot wife. Punk says he poured his soul to entertain you. Punk says because he stayed ready, he got ready. A chance when Seth got hurt. Punk says he is a champion. Punk says if he wasn't ready, you'll be listening to Jey Uso. The crowd boos him. Punk wonder why they are booing him because he likes to yeet. Crowd starts to yeet, as the sheep they are. Punk says he lost last night, but he is smiling. Punk says he's still the best in the world, and the crowd starts to cheer for him. Punk says he came out to Vegas and he said that he had a dream since he was a kid, but Punk then says he stood under the brightest lights on the biggest stage and he proved it. This is really good by CM Punk. Punk says last night was not his night. Punk says he is not going home to sulk and go on vacation because you never know when a title match is going to fall from the sky. After that, he's getting ready to leave, but Cody Rhodes' music hit, and I'm sitting here wondering, man, why is Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw? He's a SmackDown superstar. But because this brand split and nobody's paying attention to it, he's just going to come out here and do whatever he wants. So anyway, Cody Rhodes comes out limping, has a black eye, a bruised black eye that was not able to be opened until probably earlier today because the photo that he took on Sunday, his eye was basically swollen shut. So he has a really nice shiner of a black eye. So his music hit, he comes down, he makes his way down to the ring. Punk then checks on his eye. Punk then asks Cody if he screwed up and went over his time. Cody then tells Punk not to leave because it is Raw and it is his time. Cody then says maybe he assumed and was incorrect. Cody then says he was standing by and watching like all of your peers. Punk then asks if Cody thought he was going to freak out or crash out. Cody then says he thought Punk was going to freak out. Listen, these guys are going back and forth. I ain't reading this whole thing. They were going back and forth talking about you're going to crash out. I didn't think he was going to crash out, but I kind of feel like he was going to crash out. To me, the beginning of all this entire segment meant nothing to me because they're just out there shooting stuff and they're killing time. And that's the one thing I hate on professional wrestling television is when you kill time. Stop killing time and actually write the shows correctly to where you don't have to kill any time. And you want to know why I know that they were killing time? And the crazy thing was they went overtime because Raw didn't end tonight until damn near 10:40 Eastern time when it ends at 10:30. So they went overtime way too much. If you cut out the whole entire beginning of this little promo, the show would have ended at its correct time. I don't care about it, but I'm just saying. Anyway, Cody says he felt like a loser even though he didn't lose. CM Punk basically said, you calling me a loser? They just went back and forth. This wasn't really anything to really speak about. This was really pretty much boring and then basically talking to each other. But Punk just says he will stay ready because you never know when a championship opportunity is going to fall out of the sky. Cody then tells Punk, just say when. So basically they're teasing Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. Now, if I'm this company, now they would be stupid enough to actually have this match this year. That should be a hell no. They teasing it, they're basically telling you guys next year, and this is what I would do if I was in charge, because we all know my booking philosophy is way better than anybody in this company's philosophy. I'm not doing that to basically be braggadocious. I'm saying it because it's legitimately the best option. Now, if I'm this company, next year at WrestleMania, it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk in one of the main events. The main event that we were supposed to get this year, we're going to get it next year. CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, and we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at next year's WrestleMania. The two main events that we missed out on this year, we need to get them next year, and this company needs to make up for it because this entire WrestleMania build-up, the road to WrestleMania this year was absolutely awful. Why was it awful? Because Seth Rollins got hurt, Roman Reigns wasn't around, and it was just CM Punk, and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes had to be the two champions walking into WrestleMania. Now, they need to give us Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns so they can finish that story at WrestleMania and Roman Reigns can finally beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And we finally need to get Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk before it's too late for CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. And in that time that it comes to fruition, for that to happen, they need to have one of these guys be a heel. Whether it's Cody Rhodes with the black hair or it's CM Punk and doing whatever he does, one of these guys need to be a heel going into that match. No babyface versus babyface that we got this year. We don't need that. Now, after that segment, we get Finn Bálor cuts a promo. It says Dominic brought out the demon, and the demon put him down. Finn says he is not done with the Judgment Day. Finn says Dominic drew first blood, so he was the first to fall. Finn says he expected this type of betrayal from Dominic, but not from JD McDonagh, because he says he knew JD since he was 12 when he walked in his gym to train. Listen, this was a nice backstage promo, segment rather. Did I care about it? No. You want to know why? Because I thought this feud was over. I thought it was over. I mean, you took the IC title off of Dominic Mysterio, which I said he should have kept it because of storyline purposes. Now Finn Balor is walking around wanting to get revenge on JD McDonagh for betraying him, even though after that, nobody cares. Listen, my affinity for this feud of a Finn Balor continuously going out to Judgment Day, it is over. If I'm the company, after he beats JD McDonagh, whatever they're going to face tonight, put Finn Balor on SmackDown and have him go chase after the United States Championship against Trick Williams, or go have him face Cody Rhodes for WWE Championship. Go have him do something. Enough of this. I'm tired of Judgment Day. I'm tired of this old members feuding. Enough is enough. Move on. Ethan Page makes his way down to the ring. Ethan Page, I told you guys, I already spoiled it earlier. He beat Javon Evans with a twisted grin for the win. After that, Rusev basically came out and distracted Javon Evans. After the match, Rusev attacked Evans and Page leaves the ring. Rusev then stomps on the back and applies the accolade. Penta, yes, Penta, the same Penta that has no story, comes out there, runs out there to basically come out there and chop Rusev and kicks him. Rusev then blocks a kick, but Penta hits a super kick. Penta then goes up to the top, but Page pushes him to the mat. Rusev then hits a thrust kick. Page doesn't want any part of Rusev, so he leaves the ring. Rusev then clinches an accolade on Penta, and he grabs the belt and places it on his shoulder. I told you guys yesterday that on my WrestleMania review, make sure you guys go check it out, that Rusev was out of place in that match. Even though it was a good ladder match, he was still out of place though. It doesn't change the fact that you had a bunch of high flyers in the match and you had one brawler, which made absolutely no sense. But anyway, Rusev was out of place, and now all of a sudden, Rusev came back after last year's WrestleMania, right? You brought him back to the company and you did nothing with him. He had a good match with Sheamus, okay, fine, whatever. After that, you've done nothing with him. And now because you guys knew that for almost an entire year that you've done nothing with him, now you're booking him for us to care about. Here's the problem. If you go an entire year telling me to my face, hey man, don't care about this person. Don't care about him. We're going to book him like he's nothing. We're going to book him not to be anything. Don't care about him. And then the first thing you do is what? A year later, now you want us to care about him. So now you got to rebook him to be dominant against a bunch of high flyers. This is great writing. Did I care about Rusev holding the IC title over his shoulder? No, I did not. We then see the Judgment Day walking in the back. I cared nothing about this. I told you that. Danhausen came out and threw out t-shirts to everybody. That was good enough for him to do that. Congratulations, Danhausen. He's killing it with the merch. After that, Judgment Day make their way down to the ring. The crowd erupts. You deserve it. Chance for Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's theme song is one of the worst theme songs I've ever heard in my life. She's singing it herself. This was absolutely terrible. She has a terrible theme song, and not only does she have a terrible theme song, but her being women's champion is honestly god-awful, and it's cringe. She's cringe. Liv Morgan is not good to me, in my opinion. Listen, she's earned it. She's worked very hard. I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about the character. I never make this personal. Listen, just because I get on here and I get mad and stuff like that, and I criticize these shows, and I rip these clowns apart like Mark Shapiro, but I rip these shows apart because of the booking. I never make it personal with the superstars. Having said that, the character of Liv Morgan makes me angry. You want to know why? Because every time she cuts a promo on the microphone, her voice screeches, and it's one of the most annoying things to ever happen on my television screen. I want to turn off. Every time she cuts a promo, I mute my television. I mute the television. Because why? She sounds horrible. The music video that she did was horrible. The song that she did was horrible. And now she came out and that video was terrible. And now this new theme song that she got is horrible. Her being women's champion, I told you guys, I wanted Stephanie Valkyrie to win. Why? Because I knew that they were going to continuously keep wrapping this show around on Judgment Day because they don't know how to write anything. I bet you right now if the Judgment Day broke up, half these people wouldn't be relevant because they don't know how to write for them. So they're going to put people in groups. And this is what I said too. They put people in groups in this company, especially the women's tag team division, when they put Bayley and Liv Valkyrie together because they don't know how to book them separately, so they put them together. With Charlotte Flair and Bliss, they put them together because they can't book them separately. They put these people together and put them in groups or put them together, random people together because they don't know what to do and they don't know how to book them. Judgment Day to me is getting played out. This Judgment Day stable is played out. I'm tired of Dominic Mysterio being in every single women's division match. He's always out there with Liv Morgan. It's one of the most annoying things. I know a lot of women who watch wrestling watch this and say to themselves, we are tired of this man being always in every single women's segment. I feel the same way. I'm tired of it. So she's out there. She does the whole, she's the greatest world champion and blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that she does. Liv said Judgment Day has been her rock or whatever the case may be. Liv said this is her ring, this is her division, this is her company, her title. Liv says if you thought she was messy in trouble, don't wait. This was absolutely terrible. Now, Sol Ruka comes out from NXT. Now, you're wondering who Sol Ruka is. The last time we saw her was at the Royal Rumble. After that, she makes her way down to the ring. Sol then apologizes for interrupting Liv Morgan, but says Liv is an inspiration. And this is what I hate the most. I hate when people make a debut and they really go out and say, oh my gosh. Now, this is what the whole white meat babyface thing I talk about. Oh my gosh, you're my inspiration. You're my inspiration. I look up to you. And then the person that you say I'm looking up to you to, you know that they're an asshole. So what's the first thing that they do to you? They straight up disrespect you and dish you. And now you're sitting there looking like a dumbass. And this is exactly what happened to Sol Ruka because she looked like an idiot after Liv Morgan put her down. Sol Ruka, this is her journey over the last decade, shows her that Liv is a top woman in the division. This was a whole bunch of kiss ass and nonsense to me. I don't know why they did this. Sol then says Liv deserved this. Liv then says Sol has some nerve to come out there and disrupt her celebration with her family. Liv then says she appreciates those kind words. Liv then says she will be as nice as possible. Liv then says you are no Liv Morgan. And she basically starts laughing, which I ain't really found that funny. I'm pretty much over Liv Morgan being the top of the division or running that Raw. Listen, if Liv Morgan is on the top of your division and your company, it's good for about 4 or 5 months. After that, I don't care nothing about it. So after this is what makes me even more upset. Now my blood is just basically boiling to a point of no end. So she says you're no Liv Morgan. Liv then says if you want to make it to WrestleMania, you will get out of her ring. Sol then says she didn't come out here to pick a fight and she didn't come out here to back down from no one. Adam Pearce comes out and placates to the crowd like a dummy. He comes out and says, you guys look like you want to see a fight. So then they come out. Adam Pearce, you guys want to see a fight. The crowd starts chanting like the idiots that they are. So then he says, so he brings out a referee, gives the referee a high five like an idiot. And then she says, Sol Ruka will face Liv Morgan right now. Now, was it a good match? Yes, it was. But you guys know who won? Liv Morgan won. She had a nice reversal from the Oblivion, but Zarya from NXT, who we don't know, nobody knows besides Royal Rumble, nobody knows who Zarya is. Zarya came out there and cost her the match, even though this is supposed to be a call-up. And Zarya cost her the match, Liv Morgan hits the Oblivion, and she wins. So not only did we get a useless impromptu match, because they don't know how to book anything, so they gave us a random-ass match on Monday Night Raw. I guess they're showcasing new talent. How about you showcase new talent against somebody else, not the women's champion, because we all know what the outcome is going to be, that she's not going to beat the women's champion. Wow, man. You see how I can just break that apart? You see how I just broke that apart? That, listen, Sol Ruka is being called up. She's not going to beat the women's champion. The women's champion is going to beat her. Well, Brandon, it's giving her the rub. No, it's not. So anyway, she loses. After that, the Judgment Day, and they celebrate. They walk down the aisle. After that, Liv celebrates in the aisle with Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne. Stephanie Valkyrie's music hits, and they come face to face. And this was cringe when Liv Morgan raised the belt, staring at her face to face. I don't want to see this again. And by the way, just to let you guys know, Sol Ruka's match with Liv Morgan was better than their match at WrestleMania, where there were reports saying that she was hurt. That's why I didn't have the match go along. That to me is a bunch of BS, by the way. But anyway, that's for another day. Stephanie Valkyrie music hits. They come out there face to face. This was cringe on the part of Liv Morgan. Stephanie Valkyrie should never lost the title, but it is what it is. We then get Brock Lesnar video package because he retired last night. This was a great video package with Brock Lesnar. He will be truly missed on this show. It was very unexpected. I thought he was going to retire in Minnesota, but it was good to see Brock Lesnar basically be cheered and get that last moment at WrestleMania. Now, after that, we get the World Tag Team Champions, Logan Paul and Austin Theory. They make their way down to the ring, accompanied by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman then starts off by introducing himself. Heyman then says he had a whole speech prepared, but the beginning of the entire program threw him off a little bit. I don't know if Paul Heyman was shooting in this promo or not. I don't know if he was being legit seriously. He must have been really pissed off, but it is what it is. So Paul Heyman says, WrestleMania was unexpected. Heyman then says there was a moment yesterday that was so unexpected it will lay in their heart for the rest of their lives. Heyman then says CM Punk came out and kissed the ass of the people in the back and in the truck and behind the scenes. Heyman then says the greatest production team had Brock Lesnar on their now part. If you guys don't know what he's talking about, he's saying now, then, and forever. That opening thing that Triple H does, now, then, forever, the whole vignette. Basically says, Heyman then says these bitches can't face the reality of what happened yesterday. Heyman then says, take him out of the now and put him in the forever. Heyman then says he will be the baddest ever in the ring. He then says his name is Brock Lesnar. Heyman then says, let's talk about the now. He looked really mad about this. I don't know if this was a shoot or not, but he looked really mad. So Heyman says, let's talk about the now. Heyman then says, the now is the fact that WWE is experiencing a resurgence in the tag team division. That is a lie. That is not true what he said. But he has to say it. But that was a flat out lie. That was a horrible lie. That was one of the worst lies he's told all week. So he says thanks to Austin Theory and Logan Paul. And if the tag team division was so great, why didn't they defend their titles at WrestleMania? You had ISHO Speed in the ring and the match went 7 minutes. And you think that the tag team division has gotten better? A resurgence? Out your damn mind. So after that, Logan takes the microphone. The crowd's booing him to the point where he sounded horrible on the microphone. Says the only reason why the Usos and LNA stole the victory at WrestleMania is because of the ungrateful backstabbing, Weasel and ISHO Speed. By the way, I told you guys this, by the way, in my review. I said that ISHO Speed, being there on night one, that after WrestleMania he would be gone. Why? Because when the celebrities come in for WrestleMania, they leave right away and they don't care. I told y'all that, and this is what y'all get for soaking that BS in. Congratulations, you played yourself. So after that, Logan says he's sick of these YouTubers. And by the way, I'm sick of this Logan Paul cutting his promo that he's sick of the YouTubers. Meanwhile, he's a YouTuber. It's just, he's sick of these outsiders. Man, it's the same promo every single time he gets on the microphone. I'm tired of it. He sounds like an idiot. I don't like Logan Paul. I'll be straight up. I'm unbiased on this channel. I don't like Logan Paul. I don't like Logan Paul at all. It is what it is. I'm not talking about. I don't like his character. I don't know the person, but I don't like his character. It is what it is. It's just annoying to me. So pardon me if I'm seeing down on Logan Paul. I could care less about Logan Paul's character on here. Anyway, Logan then says nothing that happened at WrestleMania matters. Logan then says Speed ended with a piece of fist in his face. Logan then says they retained their titles over the weekend. Your titles weren't all on the line. You see how stupid these guys are? If you give somebody a script and say, go out there and cut a promo, and by the way, don't go out there and say that your titles were online and you retained the titles because you didn't defend them. So how did you retain something that you didn't defend as a title holder? Paul Heyman then brings out Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker then calls out Seth Rollins. He cut a promo that was basically I didn't really care for. Seth Rollins' music hits. He comes out. He hits Braun Breaker in the back with a chair. He busted him open in the back of his head. He was bleeding in the back of his head. He then hits Logan Paul, but Theory hits him with a punch, a weak punch at that. Logan then punches Seth Rollins. His punches look absolutely horrible. While Austin Theory is holding, the Street Profits music hits. Now, I've been wondering where the Street Profits have been, but I'm also wondering, why are they on Monday Night Raw? Maybe Seth Rollins recruited them. We'll find out. But why are they on Monday Night Raw? The last time we saw them were on SmackDown. So again, I'm asking, why are they on this network or on this show when they were somewhere else before? It makes no sense, but I'll give them a week. I'll give them till next Monday to tell me why the Street Profits are helping out Seth Rollins. I'll give them that. I'll give them a week. I'll give them a pass for being stupid. After that, the music hits to make them out to the ring. They get rid of Logan Paul and Austin Theory. They run them off. After that, they fight into the crowd. Braun then charges out Seth, but Seth Rollins hit the super kick. Seth then punches Braun and kicks him. Seth then misses a blackout, and Braun hits a spear. Braun then chokes Seth Rollins and pulls his t-shirt off of him. Braun then says some words for Seth, and he hits a spear. Braun then tells Seth, then hits Seth with another spear after that. Do I care about Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker? Am I supposed to care? Yes. Do I care? No, I don't. Why don't you care about Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins? Because I don't. Tonight's show left a lot to be desired, and quite frankly, they don't deserve it for me to care about it. Braun Breaker, we all know how this is going to end. They're going to face that backlash, and Braun Breaker is going to go over. Do I think Braun Breaker is ready to be world champion yet in the company? No. That's not my decision to decide about. Do I think he's ready to be world champion? No, I do not. Do I think Seth Rollins? Do I think this feud is going to? Do I think that this feud is going to carry out for the next probably 2 pay-per-views after this? Yes, because you know why? They can't help themselves. After that, we get JD McDonagh comes out and cuts a promo and says it's time to get serious. JD then says you brought him into Judgment Day as part of family, that you're supposed to be family. JD then says you changed so much and CM Punk got in his head. And all the several things that he said before, he repeated it again. Basically, they knew each other for 20 years, so that he was easy to do it again. JD says he will step out of that shadow of Finn Bálor and show everyone that the Finn Bálor you love is dead. This made absolutely no sense. You were not in his shadow. This makes no sense. How are you in somebody's shadow when before you were on the main roster, we weren't seeing you? Lord have mercy. Anyway, Finn Bálor makes his way down to the ring. Finn Bálor hits the coup de grace for the win. Finn Bálor wins. After the match, Dominic attacks Finn from behind and punches Finn. Dominic then goes for a 619, but Finn hits a clothesline and a dropkick. Finn then goes up, but JD pulls Dominic to safety. The fact that we have to go through this again, I told you guys, I am completely over this feud with Finn Bálor on Judgment Day. Now that he beat JD McDonagh, they have him attacking him again, so what is this whole thing now? Why are we getting this again? He beat JD McDonagh, leave it at that, and the feud is over. But no, because these people don't know how to book and write and creative, now we got to sit up here and deal with this again. Now we got to go through this feud again. Why? Because they can't leave well enough alone and just end it. He already got his revenge. End it. He beat both of them on back-to-back nights, and the first thing you do is run Dominic Mysterio out there to attack him again. Why? You just beat him yesterday, and you beat the next guy. It's only 2 guys in the group. It's 2 guys and 3 women in this group. You beat the 2 guys you're supposed to beat. Why are we continuously doing this again? It makes no sense. The reason why it makes no sense, because they don't know how to book these shows the correct way. We then see Jackie with Gunther. Jackie asks Gunther about how he feels after his win against Seth Rollins. Gunther says he feels fantastic. Gunther says he proved that he was right about what he said. Jackie then asks if Gunther and Paul Heyman knew about Braun Breaker. Gunther says there is no me in Paul Heyman. Gunther says Paul Heyman only owes him a favor. Gunther then says you will see him with the World Heavyweight Championship around his waist soon. I hope not. That's the one thing I would dread, is if Gunther is world champion in this company again. Listen, I know Triple H loves Gunther. I don't. Listen, Gunther is good. I'm not saying he's not a good talent. I'm not saying he's not good in the ring. As a world champion, me personally, I don't ever want to see him be world champion again. I don't ever want to see him with the world title around his waist. I don't want to see him with WWE Championship around his waist. I don't want to see him with no titles on his waist. There's just some guys who, by the way, I always hated this saying because I hate when Vince McMahon did it to The Undertaker. Oh, The Undertaker never needed the belt. Yeah, man, say that to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, who had the belt and who was over. And The Undertaker was carrying the company from 1990 until 1997 or 1995 and 96 before Stone Cold Steve Austin became popular, and you're going to tell him that he don't need the belt. Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't like that part, telling him that he didn't need it. But in this case, Gunther don't need the belt. Gunther then says Paul Heyman owes him a favor. Gunther says you will see him with the world title around his waist. LA Knight then shows up and says, from one WrestleMania winner to another, congratulations. Knight then says you beat Seth, but everybody knows that he isn't the only one with his eyes on the prize. Knight then says someone needed a 3-on-1 advantage, so that is an L. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with LA Knight. I have no idea what they're going to do with LA Knight. LA Knight's time seems like it's run his course of being the main guy. He gets a lot of pop. He gets a lot of praise. I have no problem with LA Knight. It's just the booking of LA Knight leaves a lot to be desired. LA, they're not giving him anything. He pinned Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Congratulations. You played yourself. I have no idea why. This is just dumb. I don't know what they're going to do with him moving forward. This company needs a hard reset. It is then announced that next week, Becky Lynch will be on Raw and Joe Hendry will have a concert. Colton says Hendry is on Raw officially. Now, here's my problem. Why are we calling guys up from NXT, right? When the people who are on the show right now as we speak, you don't know how to book them. So the people who you are calling up on the main roster, if you can't book the people that you got, how are you going to book the people that are new when you can't book the people that you have? Boys, this night was a very, very long night watching this pathetic show. We then see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in the back, and Rhea tells Io Sky she can handle her business here while she goes to SmackDown. They hug and Io walks away. Liv Morgan then sees Rhea walk past her. Liv then says she will see Rhea again, and Rhea says she's looking forward to it. Now, when this happened, whenever this promo happened, I said to myself, when they said each other, we'll see each other again, I said, no, you will not. I almost cried. I'm lying. I'm being facetious. I hope they never see each other again because, listen, let me just say this. I hope for the rest of the time I watch wrestling, I hope to never, ever see Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley ever again in this company's history. I never want to see this again. I don't ever want to see that match again because we already went through that whole entire Judgment Day thing when they went up against each other. I never, ever, 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 ever want to see them face in the ring again. Never again. We can wait about 10 years to see them fight in the ring. Give me 10 years and I'll say, okay, maybe in a retirement match, maybe. I don't ever want to see them face again. Why? Because it happened too much and they were in a feud together over a year with the whole Judgment Day thing. Enough. I don't ever want to see them wrestle again. A vehicle then arrives in the garage and it is Roman Reigns. Jimmy and Jey Uso then greet Roman Reigns in the gorilla position and Roman Reigns then tells him to join him in the ring. The Usos and Roman Reigns then make their way down to the ring. Roman starts off by telling Vegas to acknowledge him, the same shtick every single week, but now he's the world champion, so we're going to let it rock for this week. Roman then says he was going to make it short and sweet and talk about the business in the future, but then Roman, he says he ran into his cousins, so he wants to discuss the family business first. Roman then says he missed this. Roman then says he's missed having their full trust, respect, and admiration. Roman then says he missed doing business with them. Roman then says right now, this is us. Basically, his hands are open and basically separate. Roman then says separated and scattered. Roman then says we are weak like this. Roman then says CM Punk can talk trash. Roman then says some rapper is talking about you from the 90s. He's talking about Cameron. If you guys didn't see Jey Uso beat up Cameron, yes, it was a stick. Yes, it was fake. Did I care about it? It was nice publicity. Did I care about what Cameron said to him? No. Did this lead to anything? No, it did not. Why it didn't lead to anything? Because Cameron wasn't there at WrestleMania and he didn't show up on Monday Night Raw. So no, it led to absolutely nothing, just for a viral moment. And I told you guys, when this company is looking for a viral moment, expect something to happen that does not make sense, and there will be nothing that follows from it. And guess what? After Jey Uso beat Cameron's ass, what happened? Nothing came from it. Ta-da, ta-da, and ta-da. So after that, he said, you got these washed up rappers. Roman then says you are the Yeet Man. Roman then says you changed the environment, and you have washed up rappers coming up to you. I thought that was a nice line. Roman then says, this isn't us. Roman then says this is us. He shows a fist, his bald fist together. Roman then says, this is the power. Roman then says, when we come together, no one can touch us. Roman then says, we ran this business for 4 years straight, which is very, very true. This is very true. Roman then says he is not asking them to serve him. Remember, that's just a great distinction. I'm not asking you guys to serve me this time like he did 4 years ago. He's saying, no, I need you guys with me. Because remember, Roman Reigns is supposed to be a babyface now. That's the difference between last time. Last time, he was whooping Jey Uso's ass to get him to fall in line. And Jimmy Uso's ass to fall in line. But now it's different because now you guys are going to fall in line. But this time, I'm going to do it without whooping your ass. I'm going to do it without being mean. I'm going to do it respectfully. That's the difference between this Roman Reigns and the last Roman Reigns. Even though he acts the same way, there's just a different tone and behavior. So then after that, Roman says he wants them to be his blood and stand with him. Jimmy then says he speaks for his brother when he says, "You will always be the tribal chief." Jimmy and Jay then point their fingers to the sky. Then, when Roman Reigns gets ready to throw his ones in the sky, Jacob Fatu music then interrupts. And by the way, let me just set this stage for a second. I said this in my SmackDown review the week before last, and my Raw review last week. I said that after this feud with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, I don't know if he's still going to be on SmackDown, but I said Jacob Fatu needs to go to Raw because his momentum was running off after he was out for those months. Remember, he had that dental surgery, so he left. He was gone for months. He came back, and the crowd wasn't as receptive to him. I said he needed to change the scenery. He needed to be on Raw. And guess what happened? He's on Raw. So it looks like I was right. Now, I'm not bragging or anything like that, but he was right. So just listen. So Jacob Fatu music then interrupts. Roman then says, "It's been a while since the last time I saw you." Roman then says there can only be a couple of reasons why you came out here. Roman then says it must be to acknowledge me. He said it like that. Fatu then says that ain't it, to the surprise of Roman Reigns. Roman then says it is because you want this. But he's looking at the World Heavyweight title. By the way, the World Heavyweight title looks good on Roman Reigns. Looks great on Roman Reigns. After that, Fatu then says he doesn't want the title. He then says he needs that title. He then says he's not out here to be the tribal chief. He then says he needs everything that the tribal chief has. He says that he needs the shoe deal, the private jet, the Rolex, the more vehicles, a bigger house to put his children in better schools. I thought this was good. Why was this good? Because if you know Jacob Fatu, he has 7 kids. So when he says, I need a bigger house, I need more vehicles, I need that Rolex and that private jet, yeah, he does need it. Why does he need it? Because he got a big ass family. He got 7 kids. And he is proud of that, which again, shout out to him. But he's saying this for a reason. And by the way, it made sense. Because if you listen to any of the promos that he cuts when he's outside of the company, he says how much he loves his wife and his kids, stuff like that. And right now he's doing this for his wife and his kids. So when he comes out and says to Roman Reigns, hey, listen, I need the Rolex, I need more vehicles, I need a bigger house, and I need to put my children in better schools, and I need that World Heavyweight title, what does that signify? It signifies when I win that World Heavyweight title, I know I'm going to be making more money. I'm going to put more money in my pocket. That's what makes this great. This is what makes the promo good on the part of Jacob Fatu. After he says that, he then says he will do whatever it takes. He then says at Backlash, you're going to know that he is all gas, no brakes with it. I thought this was a nice way for him to approach Roman Reigns. The only thing that people are going to have a problem with is if he's saying, listen, how you just jump in front of the table to get a title shot, but it doesn't matter because it's family. So that part is not going to really matter. Roman then says he agrees with Jacob Fatu. He then says he wants all of those things for him too. He then says maybe you can beat him. He then says if you can beat him, can you handle the burden that the title brings to you? He then says we have to look at it on the other side. He then says if you can't beat him, can you handle the burden of acknowledging him? He said it like that. The reason I'm saying it like that because that's exactly how he said it. He then says it is thin air up here. He then says we are at the top of the mountain. He then says he will give him the rest of this week. He then says he is not going to give him a yes or a no, but he will see him next week. And by the way, Roman Reigns just said, if you guys didn't see it, he said enough of this part-time crap. You guys keep calling me a part-timer. Ain't we done with that? I'm going to be here all summer. Which this is a great thing for Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns has not been around he has not been around for a summer since probably 2023. Because in 2024, after he lost at WrestleMania to Cody Rhodes, at WrestleMania 40, he was gone all through the summer. He came back at SummerSlam to help Cody Rhodes. Then last year, at WrestleMania, after he lost to Seth Rollins and CM Punk, well, Seth Rollins pinned him, but CM Punk was in a triple threat match. He was gone for a minute too after that Raw after Mania. He was gone after that happened with the whole Vision thing. So he hasn't been around in the summertime in a long time. So this is good for him. Now, since we see him next week, Roman then tells the Usos, they basically get out the ring. They all get out the ring. Roman then tells the Usos to talk to him, talk some sense into him. He's telling that to Jimmy. Then Jimmy says, I'll talk to him. And then the show comes to a close. This was the best thing about tonight's show. Now for me, I'm giving this show, I'll give it a C-. The only reason why it's getting a C- is because of this last segment. This last segment did a lot for me when it comes to Roman Reigns being on the show, being present with the world title on the show, and Jacob Fatu coming out there, something that I predicted to happen. So I'll give it a C-. For a Raw after Mania, it would be a D+, but because Roman Reigns was there and this ending happened, this was good. Now, the one thing I'll say before I end this review is, now, do I think Jacob Fatu is going to win at Backlash? No. After he loses at Backlash, because that's exactly what's going to happen, he going to lose, Roman Reigns is going to make Jacob Fatu acknowledge him, and then they're going to have a little bloodline reunion, and that's what it's going to be. But instead, Jacob Fatu is probably going to be a part of it. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing something out there on the table. That's just how I feel. Alright guys, let me know in the comment sections down below how you guys felt about Monday Night Raw tonight for your April 20th review. Let me know if you guys actually liked the show. Did you guys think it was so-so? Did you dislike the show? I thought it was so-so. I thought besides the opening segment with Oba Femi coming out and the last segment with Roman Reigns was really good. After that, this entire show was filler. A lot of it didn't make sense. As you guys saw earlier in the video when I was just mad and basically going off because I was just so sick of how everything is being laid out. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about this show. Make sure you comment down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. And I will see you next time for my Monday Night Raw review. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.